My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line.
This is going to be a live trading video. Here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
Here we go. We're live.
All right, you guys, welcome back to another live stream. Thank you for being here. Today is Tuesday, and this week should be a little bit of an interesting second half of the week. We do have in the U.S., of course, our the Thanksgiving, which Thanksgiving in the U.S. is usually a time when markets sort of slow down, things get kind of quiet as we do sort of prepare for the holidays. We also have Black Friday coming up, which is, that whole week is just kind of a time where at least in the US, things are really not heavy on the work side. People are usually spending time with family and away from their computers. So should be an interesting few days. I wouldn't expect too much movement, though. Last year, if I remember correctly, I was trading the Canadian currency pairs, and they moved like crazy for some reason. I think it was something to do with oil, or there was some news. So you can still get those market movements. They can still occur during the holidays, of course, but expecting a little bit lower on the volatility side going into the next few days. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining me here today. I'm going to pull up the chat just so I can see what everybody is saying. What's up, guys? Good morning. Shout out to all the people who are here regularly. I know you guys, a lot of you show up each time to the streams, and you just you kind of show up just like I do, right? You make it part of your routine to be here, which I really appreciate, and I think is a cool thing. It allows us all to kind of do the same thing. We're going to be taking a look at the markets together, looking for setups, and going along. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have not been taking many trades recently because of my my trades that are going well, which is a really good problem to have, right? Taking trades is nice, but ideally I like to just be holding on to trades because of the nature of my trading style. It's kind of like, if I'm going to take a trade, ideally that trade just keeps going and going, and all I have to do is trail stops, right? I can do that. That's fairly easy, but not all those moves are so clean. So when I do have a situation where I buy into something and it just keeps going and going, it's a great spot to be in. So I'm hoping to keep going along with it. The AUDUSD trade that I'm in is still dropping, and so until that stops doing so, I really don't have much to do with my trading account. Someone sent me a message and they were like, Nick, I don't see you making that many trades right now. Why aren't you trading more? And I mentioned that, sometimes the best thing to do is not to take a lot of trades, but just to let the winners that you have keep running, right? So I don't know. That's where I'm kind of at with my trading. Sometimes it's different. If you stick around on the streams long enough, there's times where I'm taking several trades a week. There are times where I take 1 or 2 trades a week and I just let them run. So it's not about the number of trades you take. It's really more just about like the quality of the ones that you're taking and letting them go for as long as possible. What do you think about the NZD rate hike? Is that a thing? What's going on with NZD USD? Is there anything going on with the Kiwi dollar today? Let's take a look at that, and I'll switch over to this view here so you can see it a little bit. Okay, so NZD USD is this one. This one must be on the move across the board. Is it? Let's see really quick. I'm going to go to the site for a second just to see where we're at. Let's go to the currency heat map here for a second. And NZD. So NZD is moving down across the board, which is kind of interesting. So we're seeing a little bit of sell side action for NZD pairs today. Was there a rate hike? Did I miss something? Any opinion on gold? We'll get to gold. Don't worry. Gold, of course, is going to be an interesting one. Gold trending oversold for too long. Well, sometimes it does stuff like this, you guys. And sometimes, the biggest danger to traders is, oh, it seems too low, it's got to come back up, right? Remember that, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Thank you, Denise. Okay, so RBNZ tonight. Is that true? Let me get on the same page with you guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little disoriented. We've got, like I said, the holidays, and I'll be out of the office for the rest of the week. starting tomorrow. So probably won't be streaming, but okay. Yeah. So we do have, oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So the cash rate, the RBNZ monetary policy statement coming out from New Zealand. Is there anything that could be of interest here? Rate rise unlikely to boost the bird. Rate outlook hinges on RBN's last rate decision for 2021. Okay, so it seems like NZD USD buyers ahead of the RBNZ. The NZD should remain bought into the RBNZ meeting this week, as expectations are that there will be a 25 basis point rate hike. Okay. So I feel like I'm a little bit more caught up. So it does seem like that the market is pricing in or anticipating a rate hike from the central bank in New Zealand, which, rate hikes are positive for currencies. Remember that when we talk about rate hikes, what we're discussing is the idea that a rate hike means that the interest rate offered by that country and their currency becomes more attractive, right? If you think about if you have two options, right, where you have one country where it's offering 2% in interest, and you have one country where it's offering negative 0.1%, right? Which country would you rather put your money in? For a very long time, there was some very, very high interest rates offered from places like the US and Canada and things like that. And there was some really popular trades at the time where you could go invest in places like the US, and you could basically borrow from the Bank of Japan. Now, the Bank of Japan has been incredibly dovish for a very long time. They have an aging population. They have a struggle with deflation, actually, meaning that when I'm not going to get full blown into tech fundamentals and stuff like that, but let me can I bring this down? So let me let's say you have 2% and you have negative 0.1%. Okay. When you're talking about currencies, right, everybody wants to talk about the head and shoulders pattern. They want to talk about support and resistance. They want to talk about the stuff that is clearly visual and easy to spot. But I personally don't find that stuff alone is enough for my trading style. I like to understand as a swing trader why people want to buy certain currencies, right? Think about it for a second. If you're going to be taking a trade where you're risking $100, several $100s, thousands of dollars on it, right? We should understand what it is we are truly buying and why we are buying it beyond just it's making a cool pattern on a chart, right? There's nothing wrong with technical analysis, don't get me wrong, but I do like to incorporate the fundamentals and the value idea behind what we are buying or selling. Some people will debate that currencies don't have any value, but to be fair, they do represent to some degree economies which do have value. They produce things, right? So when you are talking about investing in one currency or the other, a lot of times a higher rate is more attractive to foreign investors, right? So people will, they'll, instead of buying this one, which offers a negative interest rate, which is places like Japan and Switzerland, they will take their money out of those places or borrow from those places and actually go buy more attractive yielding currencies. A couple to list off. Right now, everything is sort of really low, but the US is so popular because it does seem to be marching towards rate hikes. And in addition to that, you also have New Zealand talking about those concepts. So what you end up with, you guys, is you get this idea of buying more attractive currencies based on higher rates. And that is historically a strategy that a lot of investors, both institutional and some retail traders, take advantage of. It's something that I look at very frequently in my trading. Let me give you guys a quick example. I know I'm not doing a lot of technicals right now. Just give me a second. I want to talk about these concepts because if you come to the streams every day, then, this is the stuff that I hope you stick around for. This is not as popular stuff to talk about, but it's really important in my view. So during this period of time, during this stretch of time, let me give you guys a little example of what I was doing in my own trading account. So I was trading during the entire movement here on the EURUSD. So this is a EURUSD move that happened between early 2018 all the way down to about 2020 when we saw the big market craziness go on, right? This is the idea, okay? I was short. I was net short, only short on the EURUSD during this entire time. And the reason was because at this time, Europe was offering, and I believe it's still the same, a 0% interest rate. And at the very same time, the US was offering 2%. I think it was at 1.1.5 and then it went to 2%. And this is before the pandemic. So at this time, the trade here was kind of in favor of the carry trade. So have you ever noticed that on your account, there is such thing as a swap, right? Have you ever seen a swap? Is anybody confused about the idea of a swap? Real quick, I just want to see if anybody is like confused on that. Are you confused by swap or do you get it? Just comment really quick in the chat. I'm just curious. So the idea of like swap, right? That cost on your account or that credit on your account. Do you guys understand swap, or would you like me to talk about it for a second? It's something I'm fascinated with. I love talking about it, but I'm just curious. Okay, confused. Please explain. Confused. Please explain. Okay. Confused. What's a swap? Interest. Okay. All right, so a couple of you guys know about swaps, so I'll keep it brief. But I do have some videos about this. It's a fascinating subject to me. So if you have Europe, which offers 0%, right? When you invest in that, that means that you're not going to get anything. If you invest in a U.S. bank, then you could get something like 2% per year, right? Now, that doesn't sound like a lot or anything like that, but when you're talking about having billions and trillions of dollars that these big, ginormous institutions like banks and hedge funds have to manage, they have to put their money somewhere. And a very popular trade during this time is to borrow from Europe, sell euros to buy dollars instead, okay? And that difference, that 0% over here and collecting that 2%. Remember, you collect the 2% over here and it costs you, basically you borrow it over there. So what happens here is that difference, you can actually get paid for that in a swap. Now, if you were to buy EURUSD, you would actually do the opposite. You would have to pay that 2%. So this would cost you 2% to go buy euros, right? So this is the concept of interest in central banks and things like that. Now, I'm no professional on every single thing about central banks, so don't get me wrong, but this is enough that I can understand, so hopefully you can as well. That difference, if you were to short euro and buy USD during this time, which is exactly what I was doing the entire stretch here, I was exclusively selling euros and buying dollars. There was a positive swap, which means that I was getting paid small dividends, basically, or small overnight carries, right, to hold this thing short. And when it doesn't do very much in the short term. It's not like you're going to get like, oh, $50 dropped into your account every day. But over time, these little things start to add up and you start to collect positive interest from holding this currency pair short. Now, this changes. These rates are what central banks are talking about when they talk about rate hikes, rate cuts, things like that. The central bank controls what that rate actually is, right? So when you are thinking about your swap payments or swap cuts, like most of the time it's costing you something. Usually it's because you're trading something that doesn't offer a favorable swap. But a very, that's sort of what we talk about when we talk about swap interest payments, things like that. So for example, right now in the EURUSD, there is a very, very small interest diversion between the two. I believe the US is it's either I think it's 0.25, and then in Europe it's 0. So there's very little. The bigger that spread, the larger the positive swap can be if you're on the right side of that exchange. Does that make sense? Hopefully that made a little sense. I know it's confusing because that subject is always confusing, even to me after doing it for so much time. It still can be tricky, but was that helpful to anybody? Just do me a favor. If that basic explanation made any sense to anybody, just drop like a yes or a no in the chat. A small fee for holding between market open and close. Yes, it's a small fee in some cases, but it can actually be a small credit to your account if you trade in the right direction of the higher yielding central bank, basically. Thanks for the explanation. Okay, thanks. Thanks. Okay, good. Yes. Great. Great explanation. Okay, cool. You're very welcome. Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it. I like that topic a lot personally. So I know we've avoided the charts. So let's take a look at looking at some technicals now in favor of that. So the idea is once I have a directional bias, sometimes part of that is due to the swap. Then I start looking at the technicals and I look for scenarios to actually trade it. Again, trading is it's very popular on YouTube and on websites and things like that to talk about technical analysis, because technical analysis is really the easier of the two, in my opinion. Fundamentals are tricky. There's a lot of things to think about. There's a million variables to what drives a currency's price up or down. But again, a lot of new traders, all they ever focus on, all they ever read about or learn about is, oh, the price hit this certain level, I'm going to short it, right? But I think that there is more to it, and understanding the fundamental story can be very, very helpful. How do you go about fundamental analysis? It's nothing easy. It's a lot of work. So I'll add to this. So I actually, inside of our private group, we have people who's basically their job, right? Analysts whose job is to help us do that fundamental research, because fundamental research takes a lot of time. It's a lot of reading. There's no like easy, 2 seconds and you're done. It does take a little bit of effort. So we actually hire people inside of the group to provide that research to our members. So if you're in the group and you don't know where to get that, you can actually go to the research tab in the group. So let me show you guys this. So if fundamental research is something that you could use help with, of course, every trade that I take, I share like the fundamental breakdown that I personally have. But on top of that, under this category right here, for those of you guys who are members in the Discord, under research, you can actually read up on articles and things being posted by, I believe we have 2 people right now who are doing that. So we have Frank and we have Bart. Both of them share content on the regular to help with fundamental and technical research on major currencies and commodities. So again, if you're a member, check out that tab. That tab should be helpful to you. And again, with every trade that I take, I like to completely share the fundamentals as well, because I am a fundamental and technical trader. I use both in every trade that I take. So didn't know that swap can be positive? Yes, it can. It's usually not a lot. It's usually very small, but it can make a small difference in collecting positive interest rather than, only negative. What's up, Ryan? Thanks for showing up, man. I'm glad that you're here. We've got, again, for those of you guys who are in the US, we do have Thanksgiving the second half of this week. But for those of you guys who are outside of the US, that may be a reason to pay attention to markets being a little bit slower this week. If you notice a little bit of lower volatility, it's probably because US traders are not going to be very active, most likely. Okay, I'm sorry for all we've been doing a lot of lecturing today, so I'll try and take a look at some pairs here. So here's EURUSD. EURUSD still sitting and hovering right around the low of the year, and really had made so much progress to the downside. That dollar has been incredibly strong, and now where I'm at with the dollar, I've talked about it several times. I am pretty much in a situation where I'm just letting the winners run that I have. I am not adding a bunch of trades right now. I am basically just sitting on them and waiting. Now, I only have really one trade that I've been sitting on, but that is still net dollar positive. Similar to that, we've got EURUSD, which is hovering around the lows. I can't possibly justify right now shorting or buying at this level. I'm not interested in buying because, again, this thing is momentum to the downside. Lots of fundamental reasoning that I like it short. But net idea for me is looking for opportunities to go short again, if and only if I can get a reasonable pullback. And again, I'm going to start sound like a broken record if you spend enough time on my channel. But there's a couple levels that we could point out. For example, you do have this idea here for a possible pullback. This is a little lower time frame, and again, might want to consider it, especially with the whole Thanksgiving week here in the US, but you do kind of have this structural area. Not my favorite area though. And again, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that most of the trade is behind us when it comes to the euro dollar and just the dollar move in general. We've seen such an incredible run to the downside on things like EURUSD, but also GBPUSD. We'll switch over to the pound and check this out, you guys. The pound is still making lower drops. And again, I think it tagged actually, it tagged a new low of the, I believe, of the year. Let's see if that's the year. I think that's the year. Just scroll way out here. Yeah, so that is actually a low of the year, which is kind of crazy. So the pound dollar, all that movement to the upside, now continuing to erase it. And are we going to keep going lower? I mean, the thing is, it's the path of least resistance. In my view, you know, it's much harder for a market to turn around than it is to keep going. Because if you think about it, if the market kind of all starts flowing one direction, everyone is sort of like, okay, we're fundamentally, technically, things make sense to this direction. It takes a lot for a market to reverse. And usually, yes, we get markets that, you know, go back and forth and over time, but generally speaking, they're in one way or another headed in a direction. And it does seem like the pound dollar here has been and still is headed in the downwards direction. You know, you've got a little bit of consolidation going on here right now, but the main idea here for me with the pound dollar is I would not bet heavily on this support zone personally. Again, we are in a series of lower lows and lower highs. So the next question is, if we're putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, what's next? I would say likely a lower low, right? Is that a guarantee that that happens? No, it's not. I have to ask myself these easy questions every day, because otherwise I get tricked up and confused. But the reality is it's really that simple. Like for me in my trading, my expectation here would be the pound dollar lower. And that is based on, again, a very strong US dollar, which is continuing to put pressure on the pound, the lower high, lower low concept that we're seeing on this 4-hour chart, the low of year coming into play. And again, just a net movement towards sell-off. Now, that doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to keep going. And that's sometimes where I get in trouble, because there's like a new trader who's just heard of Forex and they wander into the streams, and that's cool. I'm like, I'm glad that you're here. But they'll make the comment later on. They'll be like, Nick, you were completely wrong about the pound. You're a terrible trader. You don't know what you're doing, right? And the thing is, none of us know with certainty where the market's going to go. But rather, the more important thing, that doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you're certain about what's going to happen. What matters is that, you know, you can make educated guesses. You can make educated decision-making processes. You can manage your risk. And when you're right, you can make it count. And when you're wrong, you try and limit that loss, right? There's no avoiding losses. No one is 100% when it comes to trading. However, you know, I'm looking at this pound. I'm saying if this thing can get underneath, if we get a breakout on the pound, maybe there's opportunities to look for continuation plays where maybe I take a sell trade, I put my stop loss in a reasonable place, and I'm looking for a possibility to catch multiple times my risk, right? Sometimes I mention multiple R's. Right. And the idea of an R is that if you have one R, that is your 1 times your risk. So if I'm risking $100, 1 R, right? If I was to make 3R, basically meaning closing out like $300, that would be 3 times my risk. And I know that's not drawn to scale, but you get the idea, right? So 3R would be 3 times that initial risk. So that's the idea. I'm looking for opportunities when it comes to trading, not where I can be right every time, but where when I am right, I can really make it count and catch some good moves in the market. I do think that it is reasonable to see maybe a little bit of a bounce or a little attempt here from the pound dollar. We are seeing a little bit of a rejection candle here, so maybe you get some opportunities to see this thing bounce a little bit more. But again, I wouldn't bet heavily against the downtrend here. I would say that if anything, this thing could be more of a short on a retest, looking for continuations, if not this week, maybe going into next. Because remember, we do have that reduced volatility due to a US holiday this second half of the week. So stay tuned on that. If someone says they don't lose, they are lying. It's true. We all take losses. And the second you can kind of accept that and embrace that in your trading, the sooner you'll be headed in the right directions. Direction. Get the likes going. Yes, please. Thank you guys very much. If you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button down below. Run it up. Appreciate you guys as always. I got to take a second to brag about my trade, AUDUSD. I'm still in this one. I have this open in 2 different accounts, floating about $400 on this trade on this account, which is nice. So, you know, it's not huge, but sometimes, you know, I got a comment. Someone was like, don't worry about the commenting on the lot size. The reason I talk about my lot size not being massive is because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, a lot of the lot sizes that you see out there are fake, right? So when you see, 15 lots being shorted, you got to remember that that's not necessarily real unless they show you some form of account that they're logged into. And I'm not even talking about MetaTrader because unfortunately that can kind of be faked. So, look for regulated brokers, look for, signs that it's real. That's the thing. Because a lot of times, you guys, people are very awestruck by this guy made 15 grand today on his trading account. But if he's just doing it on a demo account, you got to be careful because that stuff is deceiving. It can make you think different things than are the reality, right? It's kind of like, TikTok is kind of scary because you watch TikTok and you see all these, crazy things and people's living these amazing lives. And you're like, wow, my life's not that special. But in reality, what do we know about Instagram and social media in general? Life is not what we see on social media, and it's very deceiving sometimes. Same thing with trading and profits and people saying like, oh, if you're not making 10 grand a day, you don't know what you're doing. No. Trading is something that we all can share. None of us own the idea of trading, and all of us are on our own, financial journey. So if you're able to make $100 and be happy with that, then good for you, right? If you're making $10 and you're like, hey man, that helped pay for, my car bill, whatever, right? That's awesome. Don't let other people's profits concern you because again, a lot of them are fake. They're not real. What you see on my channel, I keep it real with you guys. Yes, it's not the biggest lot size you ever saw. And I'm not here to like try and impress anybody. I'm here to just do my thing. I love trading and I want to share it with more people who are the same way. So, yeah. AUDUSD is a trade. I've taken several shorts on this thing in the last few weeks. This is going to be my fourth trade that has been profitable in a row on AUDUSD. So just a little hype up moment for myself. I shorted here, covered here, shorted here, covered here, shorted here, covered here, shorted here, still in the trade down there. So I've been in a good spot with this Aussie dollar trade. I think I've really caught a nice little streak here, which is very nice when it happens, and it doesn't happen all the time. So I'm not going to act like everything I touch is a winner because that would be completely not true. But when you catch a streak, it's awesome, and it's a really good idea to just take that as a blessing, right? The thing about trading is that it's very easy to start getting cocky with your stuff, get arrogant with it, get an ego going. But the reality is that the markets are always going to be there to trade. They're also going to always be there to humble you when you feel like you're the next big thing in the world of trading. And that's okay, right? Trading it's okay to learn lessons and continue to improve. But anyways, with this trade, what I've done is I've actually just trailed my stop loss down to this point here. So I have locked in a profitable trade no matter what, which is a great spot to be in. So unless the market just gaps way past me, this should be a profitable trade. But anyways, I have my stop loss behind structure. I am thinking about possibly locking in more profit as we go into the next few days. Things are probably going to be very low volatility, which I don't know what that means. That could mean like we float back up and just on low volume. But again, I don't know. A part of me just wants to keep my stop loss where it's at and continue to let this thing play out. There's always that like tricky component of like, real life, right? I'm going on vacation. I'm going to be away from the trading desk. Do I close out the profit? The answer is no, I don't, because that goes against my strategy. But sometimes that's weird, right? Sometimes you get these like weird things where it's like the real world challenges your trading strategy, because sometimes your trading strategy it's not feasible in certain situations. Like if you have to be there to monitor trades, but you can't be there to monitor trades, that can be tricky. So I don't know. I'm thinking about just locking my stop loss in somewhere maybe before I leave, and then just letting it run. If I come back and it's stopped up, then great. I'll have my profit. And if the price keeps dropping, then of course I will continue to trail stops further. Nick, do you always place your trades on the 1 hour chart? No, I don't. But usually that is something that I'm looking at. Hi, Nick. I'm considering to join the A1 Trading VIP group. What is the main things I can learn there? Great question. So I'll talk about it just for a second. For those of you guys who are looking to take advantage of our 40% off sale, again, we are doing for Black Friday. We just extended it to the whole month because we had a lot of people who wanted to join. And when we can do it over time, it's easier to facilitate all the new questions and members that we're getting. So anyways, if you're interested in the VIP group, let me hook you up with a short little brief explanation of all the stuff that you get. So inside of the group, it is designed for traders who are not looking for get rich quick stuff. It's designed for traders who are serious about this stuff, who are looking for not just a place to copy and make big money or anything like that, which is not realistic, but rather for people who are looking to take their trading to the next level genuinely and seriously through the service that we offer. We have, I think, about 10 people who contribute to what is offered here. So it's not just me. The A1 trading community really is a team effort. We have moderators, we have customer support reps, we have several analysts that work inside. We do coaching webinars. So it is something that is a manicured, very, very a worked on product that we've put together. And this is really designed to be the absolute best place for traders of all levels to join us and to take their trading, like I said, to that next level. So you get access to the chat room, so you can meet traders from around the world. You can chat with people from Australia, from New Zealand, from parts of Asia, North America, all over, right? We have people from literally all over the globe. So you can access the chat rooms. You can also see trade ideas being shared by some of our more experienced members, but then also you can see the trades being shared by myself. So every trade that I take gets dropped in here. So you can see the technical and fundamental reasoning behind every trade. So all these Aussie dollar trades that I've been taking have been documented in my journal here under the Nick's Trades. You can also see trades being taken by my friend Patrick, who is from Germany, or he's from the US, but he lives in Germany. You also have Ryan, who's out in Dubai, really nice guy. He also streams on A1 Trading and very, very experienced trader. He's a FTMO funded trader. He's got that 200K account in process, which is really, really cool. And then, of course, like I was mentioning earlier, you get access to our research tab. So if you like fundamental research and you would benefit from reading up on the latest, that's coming out there throughout the week. We've got writers who are contributing there. So you get the inside scoop, if you will, on that. So again, you get all of our trade alerts in fundamental breakdowns, the journals. You get the research, the fundamental breakdowns. You also get coaching webinars throughout the week. So you get access to asking your questions and jumping in a call. It's with my friend Ivan, who is originally from Norway and a really, really nice guy, great educator and very, very kind person. Pretty much everyone that we've brought in the group is very, very nice people. But you also get access to our educational portal, which, by the way, comes with our strategy library. So if you would like to read up on the strategies that are being traded by myself and a couple other of our analysts here, they're written out in PDF form. You can download it. You can take it as you will. You can read it on the plane, whatever you're doing, right? And so that's kind of like an inside scoop. You also get access to our Mt4 software tools. So we have scanners like the A1 trend scanner. We have a robot that is being worked on, and we're going to have 2 Forex robots, which that's a little drop for those of you guys who are already members. Stay tuned on that. We're working on something kind of fun there. And yeah, so that's pretty much everything in the group. And it's right now, there's a one-time fee. I know I'm ranting for a second here, but I just wanted to go through the full concept before I jump back on the charts, because people who are interested in this, like I said, this right now is the absolute best time to join with the Black Friday sale. It's 40% off, and all of the information to join is down below in the description. I'm sorry for the long pitch there today, but again, for those of you guys who are on the sidelines or have been meaning to join, this is your best chance to do so. Join us. Come join the community. I'm telling you, it is really, really worth the money. We've made the price absolutely the lowest we can make for the max amount of value that we give inside of the group. Of course, you don't have to. There is still plenty of free stuff here on the YouTube channel, and I respect if you don't want to join. That's completely fine. But I am saying that, truthfully, it is really, really worth the money. And, that money goes towards the entire team that we have here. We've made it so that it's not ridiculously priced. We have it so that it's, you get so much value. You probably won't need to get anything else ever. And again, it's a one-time fee anyways. So link is down below in the description. So check it out. And there is your information. How much for it? All of the information, like I said, is down there. might pull up to your Discord. Hey, we'd be happy to have you there. It is a one-time fee. Yes. If you've been meaning to join, like I said, it's one time with that gold option. It's the gold VIP, which is 40% off right now. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting exhausted. That was a lot. I know sometimes people are like, Nick, just get on to the charts again. And I understand that. But remember, that this stuff is free, right? We have an office, we have producers and an editor, and all that stuff costs us money. This content is free. We pay for that in part due to our community and our awesome members who basically are like glorified sponsors. They get access to all this cool stuff, but they also sponsor the free content, the A1 trading streams and all that stuff. So occasionally I have to drop that promo. Anyways, gold here. What do you guys think? Real quick, what do you guys think? Drop it in the chat. It's down below or in the chat, whether it's below you or on the side of your screen. Drop real quick. Are you bullish on gold? Are you bearish on gold? What do you think? Do you think this is a dip, or do you think this is a full-blown reversal here and we're going lower? I will say one concerning thing that I have about gold is that if this does decide to completely reverse, that's going to be yet again another lower high in this concept, which is, I will say that's a little bit concerning. I would love to see for the bulls a breakout of that concept. So we could actually draw just a trend line really quick. Get this right. Trend line, bam, bam, bam. It's a very ugly trend line, but you kind of get the point. If we can get that breakout, that would be really big, I think, for the bulls. But if we struggle to break that and we even break lower, right? If we go much lower than this, to me, that looks very bearish and may even lead into a sell-off at the end of the year, which could be huge. So I'm very concerned for the price of gold right now. I thought about buying it yesterday. I'm kind of thankful that I didn't. Honestly, I probably would have taken a loss. Let's just be completely honest. If you bought anything in the last day or so, it's looking a little bad unless you got stopped out already. But yeah, it's a little messy. RT Forex says, I agree. Bearish because of tapering. I see a bounce in gold coming. Bullish. Bearish, bull, bearish because of real estate bubble. I think it's bursting. I only watch this live streams of King of Forex, the #1 Forex trader worldwide. Wow. Thank you so much for that message. I appreciate that. I don't claim it though. I don't claim to be the king of Forex or the best Forex trader. There are guys and girls out here that are better than myself and trading bigger and making more money. And, I appreciate the comment though. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. So, seems like a mixed crowd, but a lot of people wanted to buy that dip. I think that gold, I don't know. It's dropping so hard right now that it's kind of hard for me to jump in there and try and buy it. Although it does seem like it's at least trying out this level here. So let's see if we can come to some conclusions. I almost have to look at the daily chart, you guys. Like the move here is so rapid that daily chart seems to be so important. I mean, look at this. We had this level at that 50% mark yesterday, and sure enough, it just went right through it here. We'll have to watch how the candle closes today. And in fact, that may be the indicator. If we get a candle that closes like this, then I probably will take a buy trade. But where I'm currently sitting, I have my positions open on the dollar. I'm not rushing to buy this thing, and honestly think that it could have more room to the downside even with the way that it's breaking through or trying to break through that chart. So we still have, 7 hours left on the daily chart here. Or 7 hours on that daily candle. So, the price can do a lot. It can come right back up by the end of the day. We'll have to watch to see. But if we get some sign of rejection at this level, I would really be interested in that because that could lead into, hey, a little flow to the upside for a bit. And I like that idea. Maybe even a breakout through that high. I think that the risk to reward is pretty good on gold. Like if you're talking about this idea here, you're saying, okay, let's say we get that candle, we get the pin bar or something like that. And then bam, we get the buy trade, right? Something like that, stop loss underneath. And then you're looking at a reasonably good risk to reward. I like that personally. I think that could be very promising because, if this thing does decide to rally back to the highs, that would be an awesome risk to reward. We're putting a stop underneath. So yeah, I've got to see what this candle does personally. I just don't, because this thing is gold has done this before, right? And gold can do these moves where 1, 2, 3, you're thinking, oh, that's a dip, and then bam, it just flies through the floor. So you got to be very careful trading gold. It can be a absolute monster, and again, it can do it on the way up too. So, these kind of moves are incredible when they happen, and they're very scary when they happen against you. So. What is the fundamental factor for going long on gold? Well, so that's a good question. A quick reason why I do think that fundamentally gold may be sort of a buy is because we're seeing the march towards rate hikes, right? Not just in the US, but other places are trying to get there. And as that comes along, rate hikes and reducing stimulus tends to be a little bit concerning for stocks, right? Just because, again, less printed money, harder to borrow for companies, that would sort of be a less conducive environment for stocks to rally. If that happens, sometimes the reaction to that is to buy up things that are considered safe havens, which gold kind of falls under that category. So it is possible that we actually see the dollar and gold appreciate, which is what we've seen the last few weeks. We've seen gold on the rise while the dollar's also been on the rise. So it's not impossible to see both happen at the same time. So to me, if that continues to be the case, which it does look like it is, gold honestly may be worth a buy on a dip, in my opinion. Please remember, this is not financial advice. It's just my thoughts, just my take on it. But we'll see how that goes. I do like the idea of buying gold. I'm going to have to wait for rejection. Of course, if I take a trade, you guys know where it will be dropped right there in Discord. So if I take that position here or today or tomorrow, whenever, maybe there's a sign of rejection, a level that I like, I will trigger that and put it in the journal in Discord. So with that said, guys, that is going to wrap up the stream for me today. That's everything I've got to look at. Pretty much everything on my watch list here for now. And again, just going to be continuing to watch that AUDUSD trade. For those guys who are members, I probably will be trailing my stop some more before I head out for Thanksgiving. So I'll be away from the charts for a little bit. But with that said, guys, thank you very much for watching today. Have a great rest of your day. Trade safe, and we'll see you back in the next stream. What's up, you guys? Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's stream. It really does go way more than you know towards supporting this content and our team here behind the scenes that makes all of this content possible. Before you go, I want to invite you to join our free Telegram and our free Discord, which will both be linked down below in the description. We share trading ideas, we share tips and tricks, broker recommendations, things that may be helpful to you in your trading career. And again, it's completely free. So down below in the description, click those links, join us there, and we'll see you in the next stream.